You can't be serious about that, can you?
I'm very serious about it.
I'll give him credit for that because there's a lot of
the bravery for running away when he got tired.
No, the bravery.
Sorry.
No, go.
Sorry. From round one, running away, jumping up and down, falling down on the floor. Yeah.
$1 million.
He did not, but go ahead.
For a clown show. For a freaking clown show. Jake Paul embarrassed himself, embarrassed the sport, and embarrassed everyone that calls himself a fighter.
Stephen A. Smith wasted no time confronting Jake Paul after his knockout loss to Anthony Joshua, doing so face-to-face during a live interview. Smith didn't sugarcoat his opinion. He questioned why Jake would choose to step into the ring with someone of Joshua's caliber so early in his boxing journey, calling the decision extremely dangerous. From Smith's perspective, this wasn't just a loss, it was a reality check. Fighting a former two-time heavyweight champion and Olympic gold medalist is not a learning experience. It's a gamble with serious consequences. Jake Paul, however, pushed back with confidence. He insisted that the loss didn't change how he sees himself or his future in boxing. According to Jake, he still has everything he needs: elite trainers, top-level facilities, and the financial resources to build the best team money can buy. He emphasized that one defeat, even a brutal one, does not define his career or stop his journey. To Jake, this was simply another chapter, not the ending.
I need a few more fights. I'm not taking him on in my next bout, but a couple more years of experience with the team I got. I'm surrounded by the best team in the world possible that money can afford, so I'm getting exponentially better.
Promoter Eddie Hearn offered a more analytical perspective on Jake Paul's performance. He pushed back against claims that Jake was running throughout the fight. According to Hearn, that criticism ignores the reality of the matchup. From the opening bell, Jake had almost no realistic chance of winning against someone like Anthony Joshua. Once that reality set in, survival became the objective. Hearn explained that the true measure of the fight wasn't whether Jake could win, but how long he could last. Many people doubted Jake would survive even a few rounds. Yet he managed to go the full 6 against a top-tier heavyweight with devastating power, which alone exceeded expectations. While Jake wasn't competitive in a traditional boxing sense, Hearn argued that enduring that level of pressure, punishment, and danger is still a notable achievement. To him, surviving 6 rounds demonstrated mental strength, toughness, and composure under extreme circumstances.
Running and Jake was held, but listen, I mean, at the end of the day, Jake had one job, and that was to try and survive. I mean, he was never ever going to win the fight, ever. And if you would have said to me, do I think he'll go 6 rounds? I would have said absolutely not. I mean, I felt that it would take AJ a couple of rounds to get hold of him, because I knew Jake can move a bit and he'd be moving off the back foot and he'd be holding. But it was the way that he did it, I think, was actually quite impressive. Like, not that particular part, but the way that he would, the way that he was strong in the clinch. He wouldn't let AJ get his shots off in the clinch. He made him miss a few times. And obviously AJ's been out of the ring for a while. But to be honest, I think the most fascinating thing of the whole night in terms of the fight was how he didn't get flatlined by that right hand. I mean, I said going into the fight, he's probably going to take AJ a few rounds to get hold of him. And I also said, as soon as he lands clean, the fight's over, right? He landed a few before, but the first that he landed really clean was the final shot. But, he never flatlined Jake. I mean, he did break his jaw in 2 places, which is a disaster, but there are a lot of heavyweights that would have been out cold from that right hand. I mean, one of them was Francis Ngannou in a pretty similar shot, really. Do you know what I mean? So I actually give Jake unbelievable credit for doing it in the first place, but his performance as well. I mean, I stand by the fact that I think he's just a decent cruiserweight, but like, he did go in with Anthony Joshua, and look, the world is full of criticism and opinions and negativity. Who else is doing what he's doing at what is he, late 20s? I mean, quite phenomenal. I mean, the guy's a complete madman. I'm watching him come out to that ring walk, and he's just
Following the fight, Logan Paul also stepped in to defend his brother, addressing the overwhelming reaction from fans, critics, and boxing purists. Logan dismissed much of the backlash as predictable hate, arguing that people were always going to criticize Jake regardless of the outcome. He explained that once you compete on a stage this big, scrutiny becomes unavoidable. Logan acknowledged the obvious truth. No one realistically expected Jake Paul to defeat Anthony Joshua. Joshua isn't a faded name or a novelty opponent, he's a seasoned, dangerous heavyweight who has competed at the very highest level. But Logan argued that what made the fight remarkable wasn't the result, it was Jake's willingness to try. He pointed to Jake's confidence and determination as rare qualities, especially considering the physical and mental risks involved. Even after suffering a broken jaw, Logan highlighted Jake's mindset as proof of his resilience. While recovering in the hospital, Jake was still joking, filming content, and staying positive. To Logan, that attitude reflects a genuine love for the sport and a willingness to face fear head-on. He framed the loss as a net positive, saying Jake proved his toughness and earned respect not through victory, but through perseverance and courage to step into uncharted territory.
These are haters. Haters gonna hate. It's just the name of the game, you know. When you're operating at the high level that my brother and I are, the haters come with it. I mean, statistically speaking, part-timer, I think the narrative's dead. I've been showing up every single Monday for the past month and a half. I've wrestled in 4 out of the 5 times I was there. I won every single match. So like, everyone who's yapping can now shut their trap because the narrative's dead.
I mean, you brought the receipts. I think that the proof stands for itself. And you mentioned your brother. Jake went 6 rounds on Friday night with Anthony Joshua. I know how proud you are of him. You were in the hospital with him afterwards. You called him an absolute warrior and said on your Instagram that his broken jaw won't break his spirit. How did you think, and what did you think of how the fight went down?
So, from strictly a logical point of view, I actually think it went down exactly as it was supposed to. I'm not sure anyone really thought that Jake was going to beat Anthony Joshua, but you have to understand, being his brother and in his close circle, he has this conviction that makes you believe, and he has this ability to defy reality and morph it into his vision of how it'll transpire that makes you think he'll win. However, like this was my opinion, this was a logical conclusion to the fight. The 2-time Olympian broke the influencer boxer's jaw. Like, okay, you know, we could have wrote it in a story and it would have made sense. That said, I think he did amazing. I'm incredibly proud of him. I think it was a net positive. I think the world can see now how tough Jake Paul is. And
Stephen A. Smith later doubled down on his criticism, making it clear that Jake Paul cannot hide behind his YouTuber background when facing elite professional fighters. Smith argued that if Jake still views himself primarily as a content creator, then he has no business stepping into the ring with world-class boxers. High-stakes fights demand full commitment and respect for the sport's professional standards. Fame, crossover appeal, and entertainment value don't protect you once the punches start landing.
Boxing trainers for years. He takes the sport very seriously.
Thank you. So let me ask you, that's the question I have, because great kid, great businessman, by the way, amazing, and I know how he does all this, the character and the persona. We keep saying that he doesn't want to be a boxer. He's not a boxer, but then
Jake Paul is a boxer.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my point.
Exactly. He's a boxer.
He can fight. I respect it. So go in there against fighters. You should be climbing the ladder towards those other fighters and taking the sport seriously to the point where you're fighting.
Former heavyweight Derek Chisora was far less forgiving. He refused to give Jake Paul any real respect for the performance, questioning the idea that simply entering the ring qualifies as bravery. Chisora dismissed praise from others, like Chris Eubank Jr., who argued that Jake deserved credit for lasting 6 rounds. From Chisora's point of view, Jake spent most of the fight running, holding, falling, and avoiding real exchanges. He threw very few meaningful punches and showed little intent to fight back. Chisora went even further, redefining what bravery actually means. To him, bravery isn't enduring pain for a massive paycheck or showing up for entertainment. True bravery, he argued, is risking your life for a greater purpose, such as fighting for your country. While he acknowledged that Jake committed to the event, Chisora made it clear that surviving 6 rounds against Joshua does not automatically earn respect for courage or skill. Turning the loss into social media content only reinforced his belief that the fight was more spectacle than substance.
You're fighting someone who you're supposed to it's not supposed to look competitive, he's not supposed to hit you, he's not supposed to go more than 3 rounds, but at the same time, you need to know how to control the pressure. I think AJ's demeanor in the build-up was someone who was like, you know what, everyone's saying these things, but this is how I see it. Yeah, I rate him, he can box a bit. He did say in an interview with Steve Bunce that like, when he was talking certain things, there's a part of me that wants to punch him in his face, but I'm just gonna chill. And I feel like that's how he handled the immense pressure.
The last time we saw AJ fuming like this, like when he actually tried to do something, was with Dylan. So we should not judge him when he says something like this, because when he don't say nothing, we say, oh, why is he not saying anything back?
Yeah.
And when he says something, we're like, oh,